Hey everyone, and welcome to a new video. And today we're going to talk about which PSP and Vita games you should pick up from the PlayStation Store. If you guys remember, a few months back the PlayStation Store was allegedly going to close. Sony decided to change their mind about that, and now we're going to get into the titles you guys should probably pick up. Now, a lot of these games, their physical format is kind of expensive, so I would say the best way to play them is like buying them digital because it's a lot cheaper, at least for some of them. Now, one of the reasons I did these videos was because the PlayStation 3 store was really hard to navigate through. You know, it was a mess, and it was hard to find a lot of titles. A lot of stuff was missing. Everything was pretty much jumbled up. They've seemed to have patched the store a little bit, and some games that were missing have reappeared. One of them being Parasite Eve for the PlayStation. There's probably a lot of others. I have to go back and do some research, but just want to kind of inform you guys on what's going on with the store. Also, it's important that even though the store is not closing, companies can still pull their games from the store. You know, whether there are time lapses on it or whatnot, you know, they could pull the games and they just won't be available. So pretty much you could be looking at a store with no games if possible, you know. So just want to kind of put that out there. Not that that would happen, but you never know. You don't want to wait too long on certain games, especially with some of the sales they have going on. All right, so with all that said, let's get into the list, starting with the Vita. Alright, first on the list is Nightcry. Now, Nightcry is a survival horror made by the creator of the first two Clock Tower games. Not that Clock Tower, The Struggle Within, and Clock Tower 3, the first two games that were really good. Now, this game got kind of a mixed reception, and I kind of understand why. It was ported to the Vita, and the Vita version has a lot of hiccups with it, but still, after playing it, I thought it was still good enough to play. Now, if you compare this game to the first two Clock Tower games, you're gonna love what you're getting into here. Now, if you haven't played the first two Clock Tower games, Nightcry uses the mechanic where you run and hide from your pursuer. So you're being stalked, and the pursuer could come at you randomly at times when you're just randomly like walking around, or during a certain events or whatnot. You want to make sure that you don't hide in the same spots too often, because the killer is smart and they will trap you, and that will be a game over for you. It's pretty tense stuff. The first main area in this game is the cruise ship. Now, you think there will be a lot of people around, but there's not, unfortunately, due to a certain event. And you'll see people get mangled up pretty bad. There's some gruesome scenes in this game. But either way, if you're into survival horror, this is one you definitely got to pick up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to frighten you. Are you all right? You look very pale.
Are you alive?
What?
Silent Hill Book of Memories is a bit of a different type of Silent Hill game. A lot of people were expecting survival horror or whatnot, and I kind of was too. But what this one ended up being was a multiplayer dungeon crawler, and that's not to take away from it being a Silent Hill game. It is a Silent Hill game with its story, what there is of it, but the gameplay is just drastically different from what we're accustomed to, and that's totally fine. I was kind of upset about it at first because I wanted a survival horror game, but this game actually delivers in what it tries to be. So basically, the game starts off with you in your apartment, and you get a package from Silent Hill, from the postman from Silent Hill Downpour. I forgot his name, but he's hella weird. But the book he gives you receive on your character's birthday, and pretty much it's your character's life story. So throughout the game, depending on how you play the game, there are 5 different endings, and the book will change the character's story depending on how you play through the game. It's pretty interesting. The game is 4-player co-op through online, and I think a local connection as well. Now, I don't know how it stacks up against other dungeon crawlers, but still, I had a good time playing this game with friends, and solo sometimes in short bursts. Now, the story is pretty much told via the levels. You have to find notes and televisions and stuff like that to kind of flesh out the story that you're going through at that moment. It's not as detailed as other Silent Hill games, which I kind of get since this game is kind of like arcadey-like in a way. But at the same time, I wanted to include this game on the list because the physical copy of the game is very pricey now. For years, like, nobody cared about it, but all of a sudden everybody wanted it. And I'm probably sure they're not even playing it. But either way, I think this game is something that everybody should try out at least once.
What is that? What the crap? There's something coming after me, man.
It's like some hands on the ground, right?
Yeah, that's creepy. Can I attack it?
Oh. Alright, so now we're taking a look at Ys 8, Lacrimosa of Donna. This game is probably one of my favorite action RPGs. At least it's got to be in my top 5 right now. This is one of those games that when I played this, and I did not want this game to end. You know, I was just like doing everything in this game. It really hooked me. Had a great story, great soundtrack, awesome characters. It just, everything just really fell into place with this game. And I think this is like the Ys game that really kind of got more people into the series. So with the Vita version being this game's original platform, I just want to kind of let you guys know that this is the vanilla version of the game. So certain add-ons that a lot of you guys might know about in other versions released for other systems are not on this version of the game. So just want you guys to be aware of that. But I'm just going to let you guys know about this for the Vita enthusiasts. In case people want to play this on the Vita, here's your chance to do so. And next up we have Muramasa Rebirth. Originally this game came out on the Wii, and I'm not sure if that version really sold too well, but if you played games like Odin Sphere, you'll know what to kind of expect here. Now the game's not very deep on story, but the action platform is really good and the boss fights are awesome. The game's not really that long, but still, I mean, for what you get in it, it's definitely worth playing. Next up, we have Uncharted Golden and Abyss. This is a really good Uncharted game. If you like action-adventure types, this game is definitely a must-have on the Vita. Now, the only thing I think kind of hinders this game is that they tried to like force some touchscreen controls during some of the gameplay, and it kind of prevents it from being played on the Vita TV or PlayStation TV, whatever people want to call that thing. But people have found a way around it, though, so if you have a hacked Vita TV, PlayStation TV, you can play it on there. But definitely a must-have in the Uncharted series. I think they did a really good job with the story, being a prequel to the series. But it's kind of weird. In future games, this game is not really talked about in the story mode. Maybe that's because it's made by different developers. But still, definitely a must-have for the series. Alright, next up, we're going to look at Arnosurge Plus, Ode to an Unborn Star. Hopefully I pronounced that right. But I have this game on the PS3, but the Vita version is an enhanced port. And I don't know too much of what it adds into it, but I do know this is probably one of the rare Vita titles out there and more expensive. So I wanted to include it in this video because a lot of people might not know that there is a digital version that you could download for the Vita for this game. It beats spending $200-300 or whatever the game's going for now for the physical copy. Now, what I do know about the game story a little bit, it's somewhat related to the Art Tenelico games. They had 3 games on the PlayStation 2 system. Well, 2 on the PS2 and then 1 on the PS3. I haven't beat the PS3 version yet, but still, if you played those games, you'll kind of like notice the resemblance, I believe. And next up, we have Hexyz Archive, The Other Side of the Sky. So, okay, a lot of people don't seem to know about this game, or maybe they just kind of just like skipped it. But if you're familiar with the Valkyrie Profile game, this is made by the same creators who made the first 2 Valkyrie Profile games, and I even think the DS game as well. Now, the game I feel like is like what you would call a spiritual successor to that series. With the way the gameplay is. Now, the story starts off that there's been an accident, and the characters actually die and they go to this other world that's pretty much fractured. So you're trying to find out what's going on, and you can kind of see like bits and pieces of the earth or whatever planet you're on in the sky, and it's really tripped out. I unfortunately fell off from finishing this game. I think I got like over halfway through the Vita version, and I just never went back to it. I don't remember what happened at the time, but I just went on to something else. But if you do like the combo-based system of Valkyrie Profile, I think this game is something that you might want to try out. And the story seemed very interesting, so I'll get back into it one day, but I just wanted to add it to this list. Tales of Hearts R is one of 2 games for the Vita that was released in America of the Tales series. The other one was Tales of Innocence, but unfortunately we didn't get that one. But we did get the last one, which is Hearts R, which is a better game, but damn, I wish we had got both of them. So if you're a fan of the Tales series, which you guys know I am, now if you haven't played the Tales series before, they are action RPGs. Usually not related to each other, but some of the games do have sequels to each other. Tales of Hearts R is its own thing, and it originally came out on a DS, but they made a remastered version for the Vita, as you're seeing here, and this was a GameStop exclusive. Now the game did get pretty good advertisement through magazines, and it was cool that GameStop wanted to make it exclusive, so you know, like one of their games that they were trying to go through. Now the game, from what I remember, it did get pretty good promotion through magazines and stuff like that. I remember at the time GameStop was trying to like add a lot of exclusive titles to their arsenal, and this being one of them. I thought that it would sell well enough for them to bring Tales of Innocence over here, which should have been the first one they brought over here anyways, but I guess they wanted to go with the best one. But unfortunately the game didn't sell well enough for them to really want to pursue that, so it's really unfortunate. But still, I think this is a solid game. More people need to know about it. I don't know where this game falls on the radar to most Tales of fans, but hopefully if we get more people to try this game out and get a following for it, maybe there's hope that we'll get Tales of Innocence R. I'm not sure what system it would be on, but still, I would love to get that game translated in English. Next up is one of my favorite kart racing games of all time. Sonic All-Stars Racing's Transform is an amazing kart racing game, and I don't really hear enough about it. When you get people usually talking about Mario Kart and even Crash Bandicoot, but Sonic All-Star Racing Transform is an amazing game. So a little bit about this game. So usually when you're racing, it's around 3 laps a course, unless you make it higher or lower. And during that course, something will happen where either a bridge will break out and your car will turn into a boat, or something where the whole course collapses and you'll start flying around, like your car will turn into a jet and you'll start flying around the level. Really a lot of fun. I wish I could play with more people online with this game. Unfortunately, the online seems to be dead in this game, but definitely a good kart racer to try out. All right, next up we have A Rose in the Twilight. I had this game pre-ordered when it first came out, and unfortunately there was a transaction error with my my pre-order, and they gave me a chance to correct it, but I just never paid attention to it, so kind of kicking myself for that right now because this game is extremely rare. But luckily you could play this as a digital download. Now this is pretty much a point and click adventure type game, but it really feels like it's one of those trial and error type games. I mean, you will get killed a lot in this game, and that may turn some people off. But for those of you that played it, let me know what you think about this one. But I think if you want to play this game, because I know it's extremely rare as a physical, this is the way to do it. And you're definitely going to want to be a fan of puzzle platformers if you play this game. And next up, we have Corpse Party Blood Drive. Now, to be honest with you, I can't really say too much about this game because I'm going to go into the earlier games later in this video. But if you like survival horror games, this game is right up your alley. Lots of craziness going on. Very horrific, I would say, events happen to your characters if you don't do things properly. And it just feels like no good outcome will come of your situation. But like I said, I'll talk about this series a little bit later in the video, but definitely pick this up if you're into survival horror games. Now next up is Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. This is a platform game that is kind of like a spiritual successor to the old school Castlevania games. I put this game on the list because I feel like this list I'm doing is more for the Vita enthusiasts. This game is available on so many platforms. But just in case you guys missed the physical edition for this game, which is very expensive now, you can always download this on the PlayStation Store. Also, I wanted to mention that Lalumana EX is on here. If you haven't played this game, this is what you would call a Metroidvania adventure game, pretty much. Pretty cool stuff. Very, well, it's not too hard, but you really have to pay attention to your surroundings because there's a lot of hazards. But it's still a lot of fun. Definitely something you might want to have on your Vita. And the last game for the Vita I wanted to recommend was Claire. So Claire is a 2D sprite-based survival horror game. Now, this game pretty much takes elements from like a lot of the horror games like Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Haunting Ground, even Rule of Rose. And it's about a girl named Claire. She goes to visit her mother at the hospital, but things go crazy after that. The hospital changes form. You don't really know what's going on. It's kind of like if you've seen that movie Jacob's Ladder, like you don't know what's real and what's not. It's pretty tripped out. And as usual with survival horror games, you're going to deal with situations like a lot of locked doors, finding keys and stuff like that, getting to certain areas and not be able to go back to where you came from. So you have to be very careful in this game. Also, the game has multiple endings, so you get karma points, and the more karma points you have, the better ending you'll get. Now, you do have a dog and a flashlight that'll kind of help you navigate through this game. The flashlight, you really have to try to utilize it because enemies will be lurking around. You won't even see them until it's too late, and then you'll get an instant death, which is really annoying. So be very careful of your surroundings in this game. Alright, so now we're going to talk about one of my favorite portable systems of all time that nobody really talks about anymore. It had a good run, and it's still today, it's a very solid portable, the PSP. Let's take a look. Alright, so first up is Mega Man Mavrick Hunter X. I've talked about the Mega Man X series before on the channel. I love these games, and this remake is really well done. Unfortunately, it didn't really sell well, and we didn't get 2 sequels that they were going to remake after this one. So, but it does come with a anime cartoon. It's kind of like a prologue to the storyline, which is pretty cool. But anyways, definitely check this one out on the store if you can't find a physical copy of it. And next up, we have the Legend of Heroes Trails from the Sky, and also Legend of Heroes Trails from the Sky SC. These games are turn-based RPGs, and they are very story-driven. Lots of dialogue, lots of reading in these games. Actually, it took Hexyz a lot of time to actually do the second game, which had a lot of like text to translate. So pretty crazy stuff. I feel like it almost made them go like bankrupt or something. But if you want to play something with a deep, engaging story, definitely check this series out. And next up is Metal Slug XX. This is a director's cut of Metal Slug 7. And the reason I wanted to include this on the list too is because this one is like kind of expensive as a physical copy. So just wanted to put it out there that it was on the digital store for download. Next up we have Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection, and also Tekken 6 was ported to the PSP. Both are really good ports of these games. A lot of people might not know about them. Well, maybe a lot of people do. But I felt like I should include them on this list because I felt like these are like staple titles to have on these systems. Also with Tekken 6, they took out that weird Tekken Force story mode you had to play as a character to kind of unlock stuff. I mean, it was kind of like messed up because it was forced. You were forced to play it to unlock certain characters, not in the PSP version, which is great. Next up we have Brandish, the Dark Revenant. I played the original on the Super Nintendo. I didn't really care for it, but you know, a lot of people did. It had a cult following, so I figured I'd mention this remake here. The thing that threw me off about this game is the way you move your character around, and it was just really annoying. I liked that the dungeons were kind of random. Well, they were random every time you play, so it was like kind of a different experience, but I just hated the awkward way your character would move around the dungeons. It just didn't make sense to me, but I don't know. Maybe I'll give this game a try another time, but just want to let you guys know it's here. And now we have Corpse Party. This game takes place and with friends performing a ritual that transports them to like a devilish version of their school. Earlier in the video, I talked about the third game, and I didn't want to talk too much about it because I wanted to more talk about this one. This was my first experience with the series. This is a survival horror game, and it is scary as heck. Like, I was like tripped out. It's kind of sad too because a lot of characters you kind of grow to like them in this game, and they end up having fates like worse than death. It's like so messed up. But definitely a cool horror game that will trip you out. Put those headphones in your ears, and just like the sound effects, just everything just trips you out in this game. You're being stalked by certain monsters. If they catch you, that character has a gruesome fate. It's just all kind of stuff with this game. But let me know in the comments what you think about this one.
何これ。気持ち悪い。なんか壁に思いっきり。向こうから叩きつけられて潰れた死体っぽい。うわ、生臭い。
Castlevania the Dracula X chronicles. So what's really cool about this game is that you're pretty much getting 3 games in one. So you're getting a remake of the original Castlevania Rondo of Blood. I think this remake did a really good job kind of like fleshing out the story. And as an unlockable, I don't know how far you have to go to unlock it, whether you have to beat the game or a certain amount of levels, but you get the original game on here as well. Not only that, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which is an excellent game. Now, unfortunately, this is not, it doesn't have the extras that the Saturn version has, but still, they did redo some of the voice acting in the game. I don't know how some people will feel about that. I think most people will feel a lot better about it, but then there's folks that are really nostalgic about the original voice acting, so you can't switch between the two, but still, just wanted to put that out there. All 3 excellent games. Need for Speed Carbon Own the City is probably one of my favorite Need for Speed games out there. I remember playing this on the PSP back in the day. I love the soundtrack. I love that you were able to free roam the city. The police chases were pretty crazy. And also I love the races, how you had to team up with other drivers. And you could do things like have them lay spike traps to like slow other drivers down. It was like some really cool stuff. I was really impressed with this game at the time, and I'm still impressed with it today. Definitely one of the overlooked games, I think, in the series. If you're going for any of the portable games, definitely try to pick this one up. Has a nice soundtrack and a story mode that's pretty interesting. Definitely check this one out. Here's Driver 76. Now, I haven't played this one that much, but I did like the comic book feel this one had, the way it kind of transitioned to the story cutscenes. And the driver games, man, I mean, if they just came out a little bit earlier before like a certain GTA game, I think they would have really would have found the mainstream audience they were looking for. They kind of did, but they didn't push it as far when they had the upper hand. But anyways, Driver 76, good game to check out. Wild Arms XF is, I believe, was the last Wild Arms game made, and they tried to change the formula up a bit in this game. So instead of like a turn-based RPG, they turned it to a strategy RPG. I don't know if that went over well with a lot of the fans of the series, but still, it has the Wild Arms feel to it with the music and the way the characters are. I think that I'm not sure what to tell people about this game, but if you do like the Wild Arms games, you might want to take a look at it, because it's nice when companies try to do something a little bit different. Hexyz Force is one of the coolest RPGs on the PSP system. I remember when I bought this years ago, and I love this game. So pretty much, this is a turn-based RPG. Really easy to get into. You play as 2 different characters, and their stories kind of they do intertwine later in the game, which is really cool, which leads to another story. But I won't go into all that. But if you want to get into like a cool turn-based combat game, this game is definitely right up your alley. Characters are likable. It's not that long of a game. It's like kind of what you would call one of those shorter RPGs. You know, not every RPG needs to be like 40 hours long. This one's probably around like 15, 20 hours at the most on your first time playing it. You know, it depends how you play the game though. But definitely a really cool game that a lot of people don't know about, because it's probably, well, I know for sure it is really expensive now, unfortunately. So definitely put this one on your radar. We also have Strikers 1945 on this system. Now, if you guys never heard of this game, this is a shoot 'em up, a horizontal one. Really a lot of fun. I thought it was actually related to the old Capcom games like 1942, 43, and 44 Loot Master, but I think it's its own thing. But either way, there's a lot of enjoyment to have here. And another shoot 'em up that people might not know on the system, NeoGeo Heroes Ultimate Shooting. This has 2 games. It has King of the Fighters Sky Stage, which was originally released on the Xbox Live Network, and then we have the NeoGeo Heroes, which was released on the PSP. So pretty much this is another horizontal shoot 'em up game. Really a lot of fun. It uses NeoGeo characters and has its own little story mode, stuff like that. Now these games are not the best shoot 'em up games you'll play, but they're still definitely a lot of fun. I feel like they're on the Castle Shishigami level, maybe slightly below, but still you'll have a good time. So I barely found this one in the store. End of Serenity. This is one of those RPGs that's really easy to get through. I think this game clocks in around 15 hours to get through. So and then with some other reviews I read about it, they said it was pretty easy to get through it. So but hey, I wanted to add it to the list because I never seen it. Maybe I'll try it out someday. We'll see. Because if the thing is going to hook me to this game is that if it has a good story. If it doesn't, I'm probably going to fall off from it. Samurai Shodown Anthology. Pretty much what you're getting in this collection is 6 Samurai Shodown games. 3 being my favorite. I know a lot of people be like, what the hell, me saying that, but still, I love that game. But one of the main reasons I like this collection because Part 6, that one wasn't really widely released at the time, and that one brings every character from every game plus new characters onto its roster. Then we have the Third Birthday. This game is related to the Parasite Eve series. You know, graphically, this game looks fantastic, and even the gameplay is really well done. The problem I have with this game is just the story mode, and I can't really get into it, unfortunately. I know some people actually really like this game, so that's why I wanted to put it on this list. But for me, I just, yeah, maybe one day I might try it again and change my mind. But yeah, that's all I can really say. And next we have P3P Persona 3 Portable. I really love the original Persona 3 game on the PS2. I thought that game was excellent, and I had a good time playing it. This one is kind of like, it gives you another story version of that game to play when you could play as a female protagonist. So I thought that was pretty cool. There's a lot of other things they added to this game and took away from the original game, like the exploration, pretty much how you explore different like areas. But still, definitely a worthy Persona game. And last on this list is going to be Lunar Silver Star Harmony. This is the 3rd remake of the Silver Star story game. And dare I say, I think this is the best one. You know, a lot of people like the complete version better, the best on the PS1. But I think this one really added some stuff that a lot of those games were missing. Like there's a part in the prologue where you can actually play as the original hero. I thought that was really cool. They added that into the game. And a lot of other stuff I could say. Definitely a worthy game to have if you don't have any of the Lunar games. I still like Lunar Silver Star better than Eternal Blue. I may be in a small margin of people who agree with me on that, but still a very good game. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for this video. Sorry it took me so long to do this video. I just didn't feel like doing this because, you know, going through the PlayStation Store and looking for games that you guys might want to download, it sucks navigating through it. It's a nightmare still. It's gotten slightly better, but still, it's nothing to be thrilled about. But if you know what you're looking for, great. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. Let me know what type of videos you'd like to see in the future on the channel. Yeah, and that's all I got for you guys. Radical Reggie, and I will see you all later.